Yadi sa sarvatra. He is everywhere, my dear Lord. My dear Lord is everywhere, my Father. So the Father is making an inquiry. Where is your Lord Hari? Upon whom you stand and challenge me so much? My Hari, everywhere, everywhere. He is omnipresent, he said. Then, Kasmat stambhena drishyade. Pointing to a pillar in front, he is asking, is he in that pillar? He says, yes. He is in the pillar. My dear listeners, you must have the power of imagination. Here is a 7-year-old boy. He is encountered by no less a person than a huge emperor. Can you imagine the height of the two? The two personalities? One is flaming with anger, hatred, intolerance. The boy is beaming with devotion, sublimity and submission. The encounter, it has reached such a stage where is your Hari? My Hari is everywhere. Is he in the pillar? He says, yes, he is in the pillar. Now you tell me, what is to be done next? Think about it. The boy says, people who have been practicing devotion for 70 and 80 years, they will not be able to say like that. If I ask you, how long have you been worshipping? You will say, I have been worshipping Swamiji right from my birth, ever since I have memory. When you started worshipping, where was the Lord? And where is he now? Has he come nearer to you or have you gone nearer to him? What is your answer? I don't know. I only know to worship. Whereas this 7-year-old boy says, my Lord is everywhere. He is also in the pillar. Now, up to now, the encounter was between the Son and the Father. Son and the Father. Now the whole scene changes. The little boy who is ardently devoted to the Lord has already asserted that Lord Hari is present everywhere and he is also in the pillar. I think Prahlada's part is over in the whole encounter. Hiranyakashipu, his father, is left with no choice now. So he makes his resolve and he makes his advance. See what Bhagavata says about it. Soham vikathamanasya shirakkayadharamite gopayeta haristwadya yaste sharanamipsidam. He says, Soham vikathamanasya. Here is the little boy born of me, my own loins, opposing me tooth and nail, not showing any symptom of yielding or heeding me. What shall I do? Shiraha kayad haramite. I and he cannot live anymore together. Either I shall live or he will live. Being a young boy born of me, I cannot allow him. So I am going to cut off his head from the body, he said. Kayad haramite shiraha gopayeta haristwadya. And the father puts a challenge. Gopayeta haristwadya. My son, Prahlada, understand, I am going to cut off your head. Lord Hari, who you claim to be present everywhere and also in the pillar, let him come and protect you now. Let me see. The whole truth will be revealed in a matter of seconds now. We don't have to wait any longer. Gopayeta haristwadya yaste sharanamipsidam. You are challenging me, repudiating me, disregarding me, only because you have sought refuge under your wonderful, invisible Lord Hari. Let me see how he protects you. Thinking in this manner, taking his sword, he began to advance. Evam duruktair muhurardayan rusha sudam mahabhagavatam mahasuraha khadgam pragrihyoutpadito varasanad stambham tadada adibalaha swamushtina. Are you visualizing the whole scene? You should no more be in the drawing room or in the TV room. Mentally you should go to the palace of Hiranyakashipu, in the big Sabha hall there, where the father and the son are engaged in a duel here. So far it was in words, now it is no more in words. Both of them have already said whatever they wanted to say. The son is not going to yield. The father is not going to be subdued also. Now everything has to take place in the matter of the next few moments. Evam duruktair muhur ardayan rusha sutam mahabhagavatam mahasuraha. Mahasuraha. He is not an ordinary asura. Mahasuraha. A big, great, unchallengeable emperor. But whom is he speaking to? Mahabhagavatam. If the Asura Chakravarti is shining with the brilliance of the boons he has snatched from Brahma, here the little son is going to be radiating and shining with the supreme devotion he has to the Supreme Lord. See the two sides. One is Mahasuraha, a powerful emperor, displaying all the strength, valor and powers that he has. Here is a small boy who has only his simple and sublime devotion to protect. Evam, in this manner, duruktaihi muhuhu ardayan rusha sutam. His own son he was tormenting with cruel, sharp, relentless, penetrating, piercing words and arguments. In this manner, khadgam pragrihya utpadito varasanad. He was seated on his throne. Suddenly he jumped up, taking his sword in his hand, and the hand raised well to do anything that was necessary. Pragrihya utpadito varasanad stambham tatada adibalaha swamushtina. I am going to cut off your neck, he said. And up to this it has come. Find out now very clearly. Paribhavagram dhyayam sada paribhavagram abhishtadoham. In such an encounter, in a matter of second, Prahlada's head would have been cut. The father has already jumped from the simhasana, from the throne. And his hands are raised with the sword and shield, both of them. He only has to cut. Then what happened? Mahavishnu's wish and will alone would prevail there. Lord Hari is the ultimate ruler, the ultimate resolver, the ultimate decider. Nobody else. Khadgam prahirgya utpadito varasanad. What the father did was, instead of approaching the son, his steps were clearly deflected. And he approached the pillar. Stambham tatada adibalaha swamushtina. With great power, magnificent power, tatada stambham, he hit the pillar with his fist. This is what he did. Actually, the son, his head should have been cut. Instead of that, Lord Hari's will and wish prevailed there, and he was cleverly led to the pillar, and he hit the pillar. Stambham tadada atibalaha swamushtina. Tadaiva tasmin ninadodi bhishano babhuva yenanda katagamaspudad yam vai swadhishnyo bhagadam tvajadayah sutva swadhamapyayamangaменire. See, this particular shloka, it puts me into some very special imagination. Vedavyasa, Srimad Bhagavata is describing what happened when the powerful demon emperor hit with his fist the pillar. Tadaiva tasmin ninadoti bhishano. A very huge, powerful and fierce sound emerged from the pillar. Babhuva yenanda katahamaspudad. By virtue of which the golden egg from which the whole universe is supposed to break off and come, the anda and the kataha, they themselves were shaken. Everything began to tremble. Yam vai swadhishnyopagadam tvajadayah sutva swadhamapyayamangaменire. Now, listening to this sound, it did not remain constricted to the Sabha hall where this episode was taking place. The whole universe was shaken. That terrible sound, people of Brahmaloka started feeling that the whole Brahmaloka is going to end. This kind of a feeling they had, mind you. And what is the prime cause of it? Hiranyakashipu. This Hiranyakashipu was gifted by Brahma, under whose strength he is challenging Prahlada on the one hand, and what is going to happen subsequently. So it became so tumultuous in nature that Brahma himself felt that my abode is going to reach the ruin. Now it was so powerful that it did not subside all of a sudden. What happened? Vedavyasa continues to say, Savikraman putravadhep surojasa nishamyan rihradam apurvam adbhutam antasabhayam nadadarsha tatpadam vitatrasuhu yena surari yuthapaha. Savikraman putravadhep surojasa. What was the intention of the father, Hiranyakashipu? To kill his son. Now, in his mind, the thought of his son and having to kill him is there. And he is now near the pillar, has already administered a hit at the pillar with his fist. Now the sound was so fierce, so powerful, so much radiating and reverberating, rending the whole atmosphere, everything in the hall. Nishamya, hearing it, Nihradam Apurvam Adbhudam. As an emperor, he had done many things, he had heard many things, but nothing of this kind. Apurvam, extremely rare. Adbhudam, stunning in nature. Andasabhayam nadadarsha tatpadam. It was rending everywhere, but he was not able to find any particular point or a source from which it emerges. So with a lot of intention, suspiciousness, a sense of suspense, he was looking everywhere. Andasabhayam natadarsha tatpadam. He could not locate any place from where the sound is coming. But the whole atmosphere is being rent, reverberated now. Vitatrasuhu yena surari yuthapaha. All the Asura chiefs of army, all of them started trembling and trembling and trembling. So you imagine how much of suspense it has caused. And Hiranyakashipu had the aim of beheading his son. And the son is standing there. He is now in front of the pillar. And there was a huge sound. And this huge sound has completely engulfed him now. Now, this is the situation. Just imagine. Come along with me as I speak. Satyam vidhadum nijabhritya bhashidam vyaptim jabhudeshva akhileshu chatmanaha adrishyata Atyadbhuta rupa mudvahan stambhe sabhayam namrugam namanusham. This is the most singular verse in the whole narration. Satyam vidhadum nijabhritya bhashidam. The suspense is still in the air. The problem is not resolved. Hiranyakashipu's aim is still active and vibrant in his mind. And he has come to the point of hitting the pillar. And that resulting in a tumultuous sound arising, the source of which he is not able to understand or trace. He had hit it. If the sound was produced from his fist, he could have understood it. But it is far beyond in its proportion. He is not able to find out any source at all in that state of suspense. See what happened. Srimad Bhagavatam right in the first verse has said, Artheshu abhijnaha swarat. The Supreme Reality is sufficiently sovereign, sufficiently resourceful, sufficiently intelligent, supra-intelligent, that whatever is to be achieved, wherever and whenever, it can achieve it without any trouble. It knows the art and the process, the methodology for it. So here what happened? Satyam vidhadum nijabhritya bhashidam. From the viewpoint of Lord Hari, he had two objects in front. One is that, what is one? Satyam vidhadum nijabhritya bhashidam. The little servant of his, the devotee of his, the 7-year-old Prahlada, when questioned by the father, with all innocence and firmness and resolve, he said, my Lord Hari is everywhere, he is omnipresent. Then, is he in the pillar? Yes, my father, he said. So that statement that Lord Hari is present everywhere and therefore in the pillar also, he said. That word, that statement, that pronouncement of the little child has to be made true and honorable. Satyam vidhatum, to make it meaningful and true. Make what? Nija bhritya bhashidam. Whatever his servant has said in a way of confession, assertion or pronouncement. And what further? Vyaptim cha bhudeshva khileshu jatmanaha. That Lord Hari himself, I am present everywhere, everywhere. Whether it is in my enemy's palace or not, anywhere and everywhere I am present, and I have to demonstrate it properly when a time or a demand or a provocation arises. Adrishyata, to fulfill both the objectives. One is the assertion of Prahlada, another is the fact of omnipresence of the Lord. Adrishyata, there was seen Atyadbhuta Rupa Mudvahan, a stunningly wonderful form. Atyadbhuta Rupam. That form was stunningly wonderful, never heard of so far. Stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. In that very pillar, sabhayam, right at the center of the sabha hall, na mrigam na manusham. What is that wonderful form? When you look at it, you cannot say it is a beast or an animal, nor can you say it is a man or a human. Neither a human nor a non-human. That kind of a wonderful form emerged from the pillar. Satyam vidhadum, not even from the pillar, adrishyada, it just emerged, visible to Hiranyakashipu and the rest. Sasatvamenam padito vibhashyan stambhasya madhyat anunirjihanam nayam mrigo nabinaro vijitram aho kimetad nrimagendra rupam. Where are we now? We are in the midst of the son and father encounter. The encounter of the son with the father. In other words, we are in the midst of Prahlada and Hiranyakashipu. And now we are moving on to an altogether different encounter. That is Nrisimha or Narahari on the one hand and Hiranyakashipu on the other. And the little boy, young boy, folding his hands, he stands in all innocence, humility and submission. And the whole encounter is going to be enacted right before his eyes, as I told you. There are many messages coming out of this. It is all right to be born as a human being in a family. When everything is all right, we have no problem, we are happy and comfortable. But there is no law which clearly stipulates that in all families, all members will be happy and comfortable. You know the story of Ravana on the one hand, Vibhishana and Kumbhakarna. There are so many other instances also. The gravest encounter is between the Pandavas on the one hand and Duryodhanas on the other. Here is a very strange episode. This is Srimad Bhagavatam that narrates the whole instance. Instances of this kind are very rare. The purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam is to clearly tell you that the invisible force or power or splendor, call it supreme intelligence, which is sustaining this universe, has got ample methods and procedures, enough of conceptual skill, performantial and executional competence, whereby any distress anywhere in the universe occurring any time will be sensed by it, and it will reach there, manifest itself in such a manner that the whole distress can be redressed. This kind of an assurance is what Srimad Bhagavatam gives. Ananyas chindayanto mam ye janah paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. This is an assurance Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita right in front of Arjuna, for Arjuna and also for others. Whoever is totally devoted to me, whose mind and intelligence are incessantly riveted to me, understand, his yoga and kshema I will ensure. Yoga is what? Kshema is what? It is better that you understand it. Kshema is upkeeping and looking after, ensuring the welfare of whatever is already there, safety. And yoga is adding whatever is further necessary. I shall do it. Is it an empty statement made by Krishna? The whole of our society relies upon this statement. It is actually a need of our mind. It is actually a clarity for our intelligence. Here, suddenly what has happened? I have already explained to you. Sa sattvamenam parito vipashyan stambhasya madhyat anunirjihanam. Frightened on the one hand, curious and anxious on the other, struck by a sense of suspense on the other. Hiranyakashipu is looking for where from is this terrific sound rending the whole atmosphere here is emerging. He was looking for and he was not able to find. When he was looking for like that, see, sa sattvamenam parito vibhashyan stambhasya madhyat anunarjihanam. He found that from the middle of the pillar, about the presence of Hari within which he questioned before his son. And the son said, yes, it is there. So right from there, that very focus emerged. Stambhasya madhyat anunarjihanam. What emerged? Nayam mrugo nabinaro vijitram. Hiranyakashipu started wondering, what is this? I have asked for a number of boons. I should not have death in the hands of men, in the hands of devas, in the hands of beasts, neither in the day nor at the night, neither inside nor outside, neither from serpents nor from other forms. Nothing. He should not have any attack from anybody. That kind of an insurance and safety he had. And he was proving himself indomitable only because so many boons he got from Brahma. Though equipped with all this, he was now looking around. And what did he find? Nayam mrugo nabinaro vijitram. It is neither a man nor a lion or a beast. Naro vijitram. It is something simply astoundingly surprising, absolutely bewildering. So he was sunk in a consternation. Vijitram aho kimetad nrmgendra rubam. Hiranyakashipu himself was defining it and describing it as what? Aho, what is this? Lo, kimetad. What is this manifestation? What is this sudden emergence? Nrmgendra rubam. Nrmgendra is actually the lion, the king of all animals. Mrigendra. Nr means Nara. So it is Nirsimha. That Nirsimha Rupam, where from has it come? This is how God is capable of circumvening every kind of an assurance that people are getting from by virtue of tapasya. Tapasya is very powerful. Penance has got its own unique place and purpose in our life. By penance you can achieve everything. Parvati achieved Paramashiva as her husband. So many people have achieved so many things by penance. Hiranyakashipu achieved a kind of an unconquerableness by virtue of his tapasya. And he was so arrogant. He was calling his son arrogant, haughty, etc. But in reality, he was the most arrogant because he felt that I am unparalleled in this world. I will have no adversary at all in my life. Such a person now clearly noticed that a kind of a creature, a kind of a being has suddenly manifested in his front. From where? From no cause. There is no source. Nobody was there, no mother was there to deliver such a being. Suddenly from the granite or the marble pillar, suddenly emerged this. And he himself defines it as Nrimrgendra.